Okay, so I have an update about the fledgling hooded crow. I'm going to try to say this without crying or being too emotional about this. I do want to give a little bit of a backstory, though, of how I ended up with the baby crow in the first place. So, I rescued a couple of animals here and rehabilitated them and found them good, loving homes. And I had just saved a little kitten and fixed her up and found her a fantastic home. So I was on the rescue pages looking for another little animal to save. I came across a post about a guy who had a crow, and no one was offering to help. The next day, still, the guy is posting asking for uh, a vet's office or what he should do. And day two, still no one is offering any sort of help of any kind. So I decided that I was going to try to um, rescue this fledgling crow. Though I have no idea or any experience about birds, I've never even owned a bird. I get in contact with the guy, and he tells me that he saw a group of boys in the street and they had sticks and they were kicking something that was on the ground. He went over to investigate. Lo and behold, it's a fledgling crow. He rescued the bird, and I ended up taking it from the guy, and I took the crow to the vet immediately upon getting the crow, and their prognosis wasn't great. The crow was in really bad shape and it looked terrible, and it couldn't even stand up or open its eyes, and it was really, really bad. They told me at the vet's office that if the crow survived 48 hours, that it most likely would survive and live a life. So I was like, okay. They told me they're not bird specialists, but they know of one and that I should contact her. So I contacted the bird specialist lady. 48 hours later, the crow was still alive. She made a home visit. Her prognosis wasn't great either. She said that she had looked at the baby crow's x-rays and that a couple of its air sacs had ruptured, and something about its frame was like box frame. It was abnormal, and there were a couple of other issues. I can't remember them now. My head's just all over the place. She told me that if the crow survived 10 days, that the likelihood of it surviving long term would go up exponentially. So I was like, okay, I accept the challenge, and I'll do my best to get this little crow to survive. She told me, though, that the crow would never fly, and that if it did survive, I was going to have to take care of it for the rest of its life. And I agreed. Okay, I can do that. And yeah, I spent the next 9 days babying this crow. I spent every second that I could with this little crow. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Really, so much. I did everything that I possibly could. Everything. Uh, on the ninth day, the crow was acting just a little bit weird. Just a little bit weird. Its feet were a little bit cold. It was a little more tired than usual, but in general, it was still doing so much better. I was wrapping up things for the night. I got the animals ready for bed, and I was cleaning the house and getting everything ready for, the next day. And I was almost finished with everything, and I heard like some weird sounds coming from the box that the baby crow was in. So I immediately went to go investigate and see what was going on. When I went in to look, the crow was just slumped over. Its head was down, and it was just kind of flapping its wings in a weird way. So I scooped it up out of the box, and I ran it into the living room, into the kitchen, and I set it down on the kitchen table, and I quickly took a video, and I sent it to the exotic bird specialist and was asking her what was going on. Oh, what should I do? She asked me if there was anything stuck in its throat. I looked in its throat, clamped my finger in its throat. I didn't feel or see anything. She told me to start CPR. I've never done CPR on a bird. I did anticipate that I might have to do that. So I watched a couple of videos like some days ago of how to do CPR on a bird. I tried CPR for probably 10 minutes, put its little beak in my mouth, and I covered its nasal passage holes, or whatever they're called. I did chest compressions, and I really tried so hard, all while bawling hysterically. And on the 9th night at about 11 p.m., the little crow passed away. I've cried nonstop. My house is so empty without that little crow. It was so cute. It was always laying on me and like pushing up against my neck, and I was always holding it. I stayed with it the entire 2 weeks that I had it. I didn't even leave my house. If I had to leave my house, I would go do what I had to do and run back home as quickly as I could and be with the little fledgling crow. I really loved that bird. And that little bird really loved me. I'm really sorry that I don't have a happier ending to this story. I really thought the crow was gonna pull through. It was doing so much better. But the exotic bird lady, she told me it could be fine 1 second and just drop dead the next second. Birds are really fragile little creatures. I knew the risk, but I was just hoping that wasn't going to happen. But that's exactly what did happen. I'm really sorry to everybody that I don't have a happier ending to this story. I'm sorry to you guys, and I'm sorry for myself. I feel like I failed so bad. I feel so terrible. And I'm really sorry to the crow. I tried so hard. I was so careful and everything, and so vigilant, and it just wasn't meant to be. So I'm really sorry that I don't have a happier ending to this story. I really thought it was gonna be a happy ending. When I start to feel a little bit better, I will go and look for another little baby animal that needs to be saved, and hopefully the ending to that story will be a lot better. Anyway, I just thought that I would update everybody.